off. All the tech has been ironed out. I'm so excited to have you guys in my kitchen tonight. We're going to give Instagram viewers up there a little bit of chance to join in, sign up, see that the live is up there, and step into my kitchen with me. I'm so excited to have you guys here this evening. We are cooking with at home. We're going to be making 2 recipes from a new book, Heal, Begin with Food. I am so excited because you can find this book now across the country at any at-home store. So I'm really thrilled to bring these recipes to you guys. If you are at home and joining me, which hopefully you are, I just want to make sure that you've got all your ingredients ready. If you don't, let us know in the comments. I'll get feedback from the team. If you've got questions, let us know in the comments, please. And the team will let me know as well. They're going to check us on Instagram up there for comments. They're going to check Facebook for comments. So let us know and I'll be here to answer any questions. So in terms of our ingredients tonight, we're going to be making my sweet chowder, which is a beautiful creamy corn chowder soup. It was actually inspired by one of my trips to New York, which I had the blessing before the world was a very different place to travel to. And I just decided I wanted to make a vegan chowder that was hearty, nourishing, absolutely delicious. It's got some warming spices in there, and yeah, one that's kind to the planet. So with the ingredients for the corn chowder, I want you guys to make sure, number 1, that you have soaked your beautiful cashew nuts, because your cashew nuts are what's going to make this soup really, really creamy. If you haven't soaked them, this is inside information, you can't tell anyone, okay? But you could put them now quickly into some boiling water, get the kettle going, pop them in there, and what they'll do is they'll start to soften. In an ideal world, we want to be doing this for at least 4 hours, ideally overnight. And another life hack is to remember to put your nuts in the fridge. They can go rancid very easily, especially if it's a hot kitchen. So make sure that you soak them for a decent amount of time. But if you haven't for tonight, pop them in some boiling water. We're gonna pull a Hail Mary with that. Then we've got some beautiful brown onion that you guys can see over here, also known as white onion, just diced and ready to be sauteed. So then also your coconut oil and your garlic. We've got really hearty warming spices. I'm going tonight with some cumin, some turmeric. Turmeric is a beautiful vibrant yellow, which you can see most of the soup really is. And turmeric is really high in anti-inflammatories. It's quite medicinal, very powerful, used quite a lot in Indian cuisine. And you know, those hearty curries that are so warming and healing are really because of the spices that go into them. So turmeric, very good. It's got cancer-fighting properties, anti-inflammatory. You can use it if you're battling with arthritis. You can have it in the morning, have it in your food. Very, very healthy. Then we've also got some heat, because nothing fires up the digestive like some cayenne pepper. You can see it over here in the jar. And it really is up to you how hot you want to go with your soup. You know, some people like it a little bit spicy. Some people really don't. So play around with it. Use your intuition tonight. If you guys get lost, use your intuition. You know, if you lean into the cooking, more often than not, it works out. And if it doesn't, that's the lesson too. And that's the beauty with learning to cook. We've got some vegetable stock, some coconut milk, some gorgeous yellow peppers over here that you guys can see, and then of course the corn. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump right into our first recipe. I hope you guys are following along. Don't forget, if you guys have questions, fire away on Instagram, which is up there, and fire away on Facebook. Let me know your questions, even if they're questions about cooking in general and not necessarily these recipes. I'm here for it. I'm quite a strong multitasker. So I'm going to start our soup. First up, coconut oil. Now, I get the question a lot, why coconut oil? Why coconut oil? Because coconut oil has a higher heat point to olive oil. Olive oil, if you overheat it, you actually destroy the health properties, which you don't want to be doing because it's a healthy fat. So coconut oil, you're going to pop it into your warmed, I use a cast iron pot, and you're going to pop your coconut right in. Oh, it was nice and steamy. We're going to let that melt, and then we're going to add in our brown onion. Now you never want to make your pot so hot. Like now I was preheating this and you can see it's kicking up quite a little bit of smoke over there. You don't want to make it so hot that it's going to scald your food, because then you're going to get that bitter taste with your onion and your garlic. So make sure that your pot is on a medium heat, never burning the food. So we're going to let this catch up. It's probably going to give quite a kickback for it, but we're here for it. So let's go. There you go. You've added in your brown onion. And you guys can see already it's starting to smoke up. And onion oils is one of those things that instantly smells delicious. There you go. Just to bring that heat down a little bit. Beautiful. Make sure that you're stirring your onions regularly and that they are getting an even amount of heat. Now, when it comes to your onion, you really want to make sure that you're dicing it in the same size, because if you're not dicing it in the same size, what tends to happen is that it cooks unevenly, and then you can sort of at the end of your soup end up, especially with the soup, because you're not going to blend the whole thing, with chunky bits of onion that aren't really cooked through. So I always think that when we're making a meal, the energy that we put into our food is the energy that we get out of it. And when you take the time to really cut and prepare your food properly before you make it, it's kind of that reward kickback, you know, that vitamin L in your food that really loves it up. So we've got our onions in here. They're sauteing and busy caramelizing. And what we're going to add next is our garlic. So you guys at home should have two garlic cloves that have been finely diced. Getting my words right there, guys. And you're going to add your garlic in. There you go, finding the words. So you've got your garlic added into your onions. Again, with garlic, because it is an inflammatory food, it's got many healing properties, but it doesn't work for every digestive system. So it's something to be mindful of and tune into your constitution with. If you feel that when you add a lot of garlic, it can actually maybe cause indigestion, you can shy away from it. You're not going to miss any of the flavors out of the recipe. It's an extra yummy add, but you can do without it. So you've got your onions and garlic, they're busy sauteing. And the wonderful thing with this soup is that it's a one-pot wonder, which I don't know about you guys at home, but for me, that's the dream, because that means I'm washing less dishes, which is really key. And then, before we actually add the yellow peppers, let's dive into our spices. We're going to be adding some turmeric, which is this gorgeous, vibrant yellow powder. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of that. Let's see if this camera over here can pick up this beautiful color. And you guys can see, just look at that. Such a powerful healing food. You have to watch out for it though, because it makes everything yellow, which is quite a catch. Then we've got some cumin that you guys are going to be adding in. So often what happens, and often what I hear, is that, oh Mel, my cooking's so bland, it doesn't taste the same as when I make your recipe. Yes, because of the spices. This is honestly, if you guys look back here, this is like my DJ box, it's my mixing kit. Like this is where it's at. Like you need to get in there with all the different flavors and make sure that you're adding that little bit of heat, that little bit of warmth, like play around with the spices and your herbs. Fresh herbs and dried herbs are absolutely incredible in the kitchen. So I just turned that heat down a little earlier just to make sure that we didn't overcook our onions. And you're going to start to see in your pot now, guys. So you've got your onions, your garlic, and your spices in the pot. And you're going to start to see what happens is it almost dries out a little bit because of all the powder from the spices. You can add a splash of water to your pot just to help it along. Or if you want to indulge a little bit of extra coconut oil, there's no judgment here. You can go at it at your pace. So you guys, right now, I'm shouting to the team at the back, guys. I need to know this. How do I hear from everybody at home if they're following along? Let me know. Maybe give me a thumbs up in the comment section. Let us know how things are going at home, guys. Give us feedback and make sure. And the team's going to let me know. They'll check my phone up there, which is running the Instagram live. And we're going to know on Facebook if everything is, if any questions have come through. So, onion, garlic, spices, they're in. Next up, we're going to be doing the yellow peppers. The yellow peppers have been sliced beautifully. And again, this is that energy that you put into your food. You know, when it comes to eating healthy, I always get the question, A, Mel, is this healthy? And B, what is healthy? Now, we've spent so long with diet culture in this world focusing on what we shouldn't eat, that we've forgotten to focus on what we should eat. And when it comes to nutrition and when it comes to food, I encourage, as you guys will know if you've got my books, if you don't, you need to, I encourage a whole food diet. What is whole foods? It's real, God-made, earth-made, plant-made food. And when you focus on the variety that you can have of beautiful colors and variety of vegetables, every single one offers you a different macro and micronutrient. And naturally, what will start to happen is that you crowd out the unhealthy food because you're eating an abundance of beautiful food. If you are full after a gorgeous corn chowder, you're not going to go out and get the junk food. And that's just how it works. So my encouragement at home is, if you are on a healing health journey, is to focus on what you can eat. So let's get these peppers in here and keep them sauteing. That's a much more reasonable heat, which is lovely. I hope at home you guys did soak those cashew nuts, because if you didn't, it's coming in soon for them to be used. So while that simmers a little bit, we're also going to talk about our second recipe. So the second recipe was founded out of my love for chocolate. I mean, let's be real. Chocolate is one of the most incredible things, and it often gets a bad rap because it's combined with chemicals and refined sugars. But actual cacao is incredibly healing. It's high in magnesium, it's comforting, it's got natural mood elevators. It's really a very positive food. So in this recipe, I was inspired by chocolate. I was also inspired by the fact that the way we eat makes a difference to the next generation. And if we eat better, we are leaving not only a better planet for the next generation, but we are also allowing the next generation to have better health. So giving your children synthetic refined sugar milkshakes can be incredibly damaging to their health. And we've got a question that's come in. And what I focused on with this recipe is giving them real quality food. You don't have to sacrifice your indulgence and your deliciousness when it comes to, and I'm sticking to that word, when it comes to eating healthy. You just have to find an incredible replacement. So in the second recipe this evening, we're going to be using a Superfood Cacao, which you can find at any of your local health stores, and it's refined, sugar-free, it's free of all your nasties, and it's an incredibly healing food, high in magnesium. So that's for the second recipe. But let's go to the question, which I'm quite excited about. Lots of people asking, can the onions be grated? Look, you're more than welcome to grate your onions. I think that you're going to put yourself through a lot of punishment, simply because when you grate an onion, you release the cells that make up the onion get compressed and release the fragrance of the onion, and that's what causes you to cry. So ideally you want to be using a really sharp chef's knife, which I'm sure you can find it at home, but a really sharp chef's knife to be dicing your onions rather than to grate them. That being said, if you find grating easy and that's what works for you, lean in. I think absolutely fine. You just want to make sure that you're not going to be crying afterwards. So let's check in here. We've got our beautiful yellow peppers, our onion, our garlic, and our spices. They're busy sauteing. They've started to get a nice color. And what we're going to add next is our sweet corn. So for those at home, it is 5 cobs that you're going to remove the kernels from. This is what you want it to look like. So all the kernels removed. What I do is I lie the corn sideways, and then I slice it sideways. I was going to slice tonight for you guys, but I decided that this might be safer considering we only have an hour together in the kitchen. But we'll have to do this again, so nobody panic. What you're going to do is you're going to add your corn to your soup bowl. The corn's such a treat because it's got this beautiful sweetness behind it that can really hold an incredible smoky flavor, and you can actually go quite bold with its pairing. One of my favorite pairings when it comes to corn is actually smoked paprika. I think it's one of the most underrated combinations in the kitchen, really. So if you guys are at home, what you have in your pot is some onion, garlic, your spices, you've got your vegetables, and soon what you're going to be adding is your vegetable stock. Now, often people ask me, do I use the powder? Do I use the cube? Do I use the liquid? Honestly, whatever makes you happy. When it comes to your stock, you want to really focus on reading the ingredients and try and get something that's not filled with a lot of nasties. And when I refer to nasties, what am I talking about? So, your nasties are your E numbers. All the different chemicals that get added to food contribute to inflammation in the body. So we want to make sure that when we're buying ingredients, that we're buying something with a minimal amount of sort of added extras to it. Can you use a red onion instead? As a question that's come through. Yes, you can. You really can. You don't, look, it's going to change the flavor slightly. It's a little bit more sweeter red onion, but nothing wrong. I think that when it comes to this way of cooking, guys, you really have to lean into the options that are available to you. If there is, for this recipe, a red pepper in the fridge, but you know, the recipe calls for yellow pepper, lean in. It's going to be just as delicious. It's going to change the flavor a little bit, but honestly, will be just as yum. So use your red onion and add it into your pot, and everything should be sauteing beautifully and just getting a lovely color. You want to make sure that nothing is sort of over browning, but rather caramelizing together. Right. So we have our goodies cooking. Do you guys have your vegetable stock ready? Mine is. I planned a lot for this, actually. I knew this date was going to happen. Looks like a serious cup of tea. So your vegetable stock, you guys are going to be adding 4 cups of veggie stock into your pot. That's 2. I'm just going to step over here quickly and just get another 2. It's like that awkward pause where Mel leaves the live, guys. But not to worry, I'll be back. So again, when it comes to adding liquid to your pots and you guys are cooking, it is ideal to add boiling liquid to a hot pot. You want to add hot to hot when you're cooking, not cold to hot, because what happens is you stop the cooking process. And when you stop the cooking process, it takes just that much longer to get going again. So you guys are going to add 4 cups of stock. And again, you mix the stock into 4 cups of water, just for those at home that aren't sure of that. We're going to pop that to the side. How are you guys doing at home? Give me some feedback, give me some questions. Let me know if you have any. I'd love to know what is happening at home for you guys. So I've got here, can I use any vegetable oil? Interesting and very good question. Yes, if that's what you have in your home. I think that on this health journey, the thing to understand is that, first thing, healthier products can be more pricey. Not necessarily all of them. The price of a butternut is very affordable. The price of a luxury olive oil is a lot more to spend than necessarily an accessible vegetable oil. So, first thing on a health journey, you meet yourself where you are at. If that's what you have in your in your cupboard, that's what you have in your cupboard. If that's what you are able to afford, that's what you're able to afford. Beautiful. That being said, when you heat vegetable oil, it does the same as olive oil. It can become rancid. This is why fried foods aren't necessarily good for our arteries. So if you have it, use it. If you're able to sub up to coconut oil, that would be my first recommendation. So what are we cooking? We are making, guys, my corn chowder from Hill, Begin With Food. I am so excited to share this recipe and this book with you guys. It's going to be stocked in all the at-home wear stores across the country. And for me, this book is honestly my heart on my sleeve. It's my health Bible that I wanted to share with you guys to be able to better empower yourselves on a healing journey with nourishing real food. So what we have at the moment in the pot is basically all the ingredients, guys. Just get it all in there. If you don't get it all in there, and you're going to bring your pot up to a simmer, the final thing you're going to be adding into your pot is coconut milk. Now this is going to give it that extra creamy deliciousness, which we love, along with the cashew nuts. Yum. And I really love how the soup tends to transform. It goes from this deep yellow. What colors are you guys getting at home? I hope you're getting the same colors as me. It goes from this deep yellow to this beautiful, vibrant, bright yellow, which is matching my top. So, soaked cashew nuts on here. The reason these cashew nuts are such a dream in the kitchen, and after you've discovered this life hack, you're going to use it for everything, is that you can make vegan mayo from cashew nuts. You can use them in desserts. You can use them to make vegan mac and cheese. They really add creaminess to anything that you're making. So your cashew nuts you're going to keep separate. They're the last thing that's going to be added into your soup. Why? Because your soup's going to simmer now for 20 minutes. So bring it up to a simmer, making sure that you guys have everything in your soup. If there's anything missing, get it in there. The only thing that shouldn't be in there right now is your cashew nuts. Do we have any questions, guys? You must let us know if there's questions on those recipes. We're going to let some questions come through, give you guys a second, and then I'm going to pop this lid on. I'm actually going to use this timer, and we're going to time our soup. One of the smartest ways to cook is to have a timer in your kitchen. It really makes a difference when it comes to knowing how long you've been doing something. And once you've practiced with the timer, your intuition and your gut will start to kick in, where you're like, wait a minute, I think my cookies are ready. That comes later on. But initially, don't be shy to use a timer, be it on a watch, be it on a cell phone, be it on your oven. Okay, beautiful. We've just got a comment that's come through. Just received your book, Heal. So excited. The aromas of the soup are incredible right now. Yeah, I love to hear that. That makes me so happy, guys. Let us know what it's smelling like in those kitchens. I know that my kitchen's smelling yummy, and I can see the whole team that's standing behind you guys. They're going to be begging for dinner after this. They're going to be very excited. I hope that you guys are cooking with your family or with a loved one. If you are, let us know. Make sure that you guys are taking photos with your phone. Tag us on Instagram. Tag me on Instagram. Find, cool ways of sharing your posts, because I'd love to see what you guys get up to after we have finished the soup. So the soup is going to simmer, and what I'd love to also do is open up a Q&A. Guys, if you have questions about your health, or questions about health in general, please fire them through now. I'd love to hear from you guys. We're going to have a little bit of time before I tackle the chocolate milkshake, and I'd love to answer them for you. So are we going to add whole cashews to or grounded? So you can keep the cashews whole. You've just soaked them, and what you're going to be doing is blending your soup just now. Because we want a chunky soup, we're going to only blend half. And into the half that we are blending, we're going to add the cashew nuts. So if you've soaked them, they're nice and soft. They really, let me chop one, and you'll see they start to, I don't know if you guys can see, they start to sort of change color and go quite soft inside. Hopefully you guys can see that over there. And what happens is they just literally turn to cream the minute you blend them. So keep your cashew nuts aside. Don't even worry about chopping them. Let your soup come to a simmer. Let's check on mine. I wish you guys could see this color, but you're going to see it at the end. We're going to see who has the best color. I think that we should do like a taste test at the end of this, like a Russian roulette, and get everybody sending in their photos. That would be fantastic of what their soup looks like. So let's tuck into our chocolate smoothie. Again, like I said, this chocolate smoothie was inspired by wanting to give children better options. It was originally meant for my kids' chapter, and then it was so yummy that it ended up in my dessert chapter. We've got a question. We're going to backlog. How long do I soak the cashews for? Your cashews need to be soaked for a minimum of 4 hours, or if you're in a hurry right now and you're just signing in and you want to have a little bit of a cheat, add some boiling water to them and leave them for at least 20 minutes. And then you could push it at the end, but it might get a slight nuttiness to it that you don't want. So ideally 4 hours or overnight. Make sure you pop them in the fridge, because nuts can go rancid, and eating an off nut is not something you want to be doing. Looping back to our chocolate. This is really one of my favorite recipes, because it should be illegal in like 3 countries. It's that good. And when I was actually making this recipe for my book, my assistant ended up with chocolate everywhere and just came to set and said, I couldn't help myself. So I hope that this happens at home, and I hope that you guys really get super chocolatey. If you have children, please share this with them. I'd love to hear if this is working for your littles, because it's yummy, it's healthy. You can have this for breakfast, you can have it for dessert, you can turn it into an ice cream. There's really so many ways you can swing this chocolate cat, really. Over here, we have a Nutribullet cup. Now, if you have a normal blender at home, you can use your blender too. You don't need to use a Nutribullet. That being said, they are really fun because they whiz things up really quickly. You can also get away with using a food processor. Just make sure that the liquid doesn't pop out the top. Or you can get away with using a stick blender, which is what we're going to be using for the soup. So that's sort of the discussion on blenders. Is everybody following at home? If you've got any questions on your sort of kitchen tools, let me know. But we're going to be using a Nutribullet. In here, I have 1 cup of coconut milk. And I'm going to be adding basically everything into it. This is our beautiful Superfood Cacao. That's high in magnesium and just such an empowering food to be eating. You know, I think, as I mentioned earlier, chocolate just gets this really bad rap, and yet it's this incredible heart space food. That's really where it targets in the body. It just expands into that heart space. So definitely a very delicious food to be having. You're going to add your cacao to your coconut milk. I think it was 2 tablespoons that I said in the book. I would be lying if I said I didn't add extra, because I'm going to have this afterwards and I'm not sharing it. Everybody can have the soup. Jokes, I might share, probably not. Then we've got our desiccated coconuts, also really beautiful ingredient. You can toast it. When I toast it, I pop it into a pan, just toss it till it's lightly golden, and then you can add it in, or you can add it in raw. I'm going for raw today because I just want to, and it's yummy. Guys, if you've got any questions on your smoothie, let me know how the soup's going. Give us thumbs up. Let us know, are the soups going well? Are you guys keeping up? Your soup should be simmering. Then we're going to add in our nut butters. So we're going to talk a little bit more about labels, because I'm such a big believer in understanding what you eat. So often if I had to ask you what E124 does as an emulsifier stabilizer into your body, people can't answer me. And then my next question back is, then why are you eating it? Because if you don't know how to even pronounce it or what it's doing to our health, then that's quite a scary thing. And when it comes to whole foods, when it comes to things, let's use a nut butter, which we're going to be using in this recipe as an example. A nut butter, when you are buying it, should be ground up nuts. That's what should really essentially be on the ingredients when you read the label at the back. Unfortunately, today we have so many hidden sugars, refined sugars. We have palm oil, which is not environmentally sustainable at all, as a byproduct into our nut butters, and that's just our nut butters. What we want to do is avoid added sugars, added chemicals into our ingredients as much and as often as possible. And we meet ourselves where we're at financially, with our time, physically, emotionally, all the things. We meet ourselves where we're at. But to be mindful that if you have the opportunity to buy a better quality nut butter, you're going to make that nut butter more accessible to the public, to the mass, because you're voting with your dollar. And that's the most powerful way to be a consumer, is to make better choices with where you spend your money. So, on the note of nut butter, you're going to add your nut butter into your coconut milk and get ready. Just look at how good that looks. And you're going to get ready to blend. It's going to be quite funny, because I think the way we're playing this, and I'm just going to say it might have happened on purpose, is that dessert's going to be ready first. So I'm not sorry. I'd love to pretend, but I can't. Okay, and then what we're going to add in, and our final ingredient, and this is if you guys found it at home. Again, I'd love to hear from you guys at home right now if you have found maca, because maca is a really unique ingredient. It's not commonly found. You can find it at any of your local health stores. We've got many in South Africa. We've also got health stores online that are offering us the home delivery service. So there's really so many options out there to explore. Maca is a superfood. What is a superfood? It is nutrient dense, and this is actually ground from a root. I don't know if you guys can see it over there. It's actually ground from a root, and it's incredibly healing. It adds so many different nutrients to whatever you cook with it, and it's kind of got like the taste of Horlicks. So you could actually make an incredibly yummy latte with this, adding in some maple syrup, some coconut, sugar, almond milk, oat milk, whatever your nut or whatever milk substitute you want to use, and that actually can make an incredible latte. So we're going to be using maca in our smoothie tonight. It's very yummy, and it tastes like Horlicks. So combining that with the cacao makes it like a chocolatey, Horlicksy, yummy smoothie, but definitely healthy. You guys at home are also going to have to give me a time check and just let me know how far we are, because I could talk to you guys all night. I could have you here really until, what is the limit? Does the limit exist? If you guys can quote that movie, you get a prize. So our dates, always make sure that you put them. Don't put the pit into your blender. You will deeply regret it. It's not going to end well. So make sure that you pip them. You can slice them, or you can just squeeze them out with your fingers, which is what I tend to do. And just make sure that there's no hard pieces that have come with, because they will damage your blades. So you can see they're so sticky. Oh, yum. I'm going to have to lick my fingers after this. Again, not sorry. That is very good. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add in some frozen banana. So the first time I ever made a smoothie, and this is for you guys at home to know that perfection does not exist. The first time I ever made a smoothie, I read that the recipe called for frozen banana, and this is before my career was in food, and I actually put the whole banana in the freezer. It doesn't work like that, guys. I learned that the hard way, so I'm going to save you guys the time on that. Basically, you need to peel the banana and then freeze it so that it looks like this. Let me show you guys here. So we're going to squeeze a whole banana in there. That's what you want your banana to be looking like, and to make sure that you pop it in the freezer like this. Absolutely delicious. You know what, guys? I'm actually going to cheat and add 2 bananas just because why not? I'm making the rules here as I go, but you guys are adding the bananas. Guys, how are those soups looking at home? Are your soups simmering away? They should be doing their things and looking absolutely delicious. I'm just going to pop that there so that it's out of the way. And don't forget, I'm here for the questions. We've got another question that's come through. Mickey Moo, movie is Mean Girls. You are a winner. Well done. You can sit with me, I promise. That's it. If you can't quote the movie, we can't be friends. Okay, so for your smoothie, guys, everything is in your blender or in your Nutribullet cup or in your cup, and you got your stick blender ready. And basically all you're going to do is whisk it up. So I'm going to let that blend. Okay, I'm done with the noise. Guys, it really is that easy. You just have to put everything in and blend it. And so often I get this statement, I don't have time to make breakfast because I am actually running out of the house and my mornings are so busy. I've got the kids, I've got everything going on. I just want to turn this on again. The reality is that if you don't make the time for yourself, you're not going to put your health first. And if you're not okay, nothing can be okay. So you're worthy of taking the time in the morning to make sure that you're getting a nourishing meal before you start your day. If you are short on time, a smoothie is such a powerful way to just inject nutrients into your body. This is high in protein because of the fats from the nuts, high in healthy fats, high in protein because of the nuts, because of the maca. Everything in here is really, it's a powerhouse nutrition shake, and it's chocolatey and delicious. So let's pour it out and have a look at how creamy. Oh, You see, the problem is if this was a spatula, you'd be able to lick it, but now you can't because it's a blade. So you have to check yourself before you wreck yourself at home there, guys. Make sure that you're not licking blades because I don't want to be held accountable for any of that. But, where should I put this? Over here, so you guys can see. I'll pour one up here and I'll pour one over there. But this is what your chocolate smoothie should be looking like. Yum. How good does that look, guys? It's like a chocolate mousse. It should be illegal in at least 3 countries. So there's our first one. And then over here, I'm going to let you guys see from this angle. Yum. And I'm definitely going to lick what is left in this cup out. So checking in on our soup. Your soup should be simmering away, looking really beautiful and creamy and delicious. Make sure that you guys have enough liquid in there. If you're battling with your liquid, you can always top it up. That's why I prefer to simmer with the lid on, because if you simmer with the lid off, then it's not going to, it's going to reduce too much. You're going to lose too much liquid. Yum, that's looking amazing, guys. That color is just so vibrant. How are you guys doing at home? If you're joining in, we are cooking 2 recipes for my new book, Heal, Begin with Food. It is stocking with at home across the country. It is a book, It is a book filled with nourishing, hearty meals. This one is plant-based, guys. I never said it out loud, but this one actually doesn't have meat in it. I do say that if you want to add meat, feel free and add meat. The soup that we're making tonight, beautiful with some chicken breast. Just making sure that your chicken breast is free range and ethically sourced, because that's more important than a meat-free Monday. So our next step, your soup has been simmering, everything's in the pot. Your chocolate smoothies are ready and looking delicious over here. What we're going to do now is you're going to take half of your soup into your blender, or at least call it 5 ladles into your blender, and then you're going to add in your cashew nuts and give it a blend. The reason you're only doing half is because you want the other half with all the bits of corn that sort of makes up the chowder. We have a question that's come in. Let's see who it's from. What is my Instagram handle? You guys can find me on Instagram at Melissa, MELISSA _Delport, and you will be able to find this recipe on At Home's Facebook page, and you will also find this recipe in my new book, Heal, Begin with Food. Ta-da! It's over there. You guys can have a look. You can find it at any of the at-home stores across the country. They're going to be stocking it, and I hope that you guys are going to be joining along. If you are joining tonight and you guys want to win, or if you find this competition post on our Facebook and Instagram, you guys can enter a hamper from, you can enter and win a hamper from me. If you visit my Instagram, my latest post is sharing the mechanics of the competition, as well as the Facebook and the Instagram of At Home. You guys can cook any of the recipes that At Home are releasing on their Facebook page. Cook the recipes, enter the competition with the recipes, and you can stand a chance to win a hamper from me, which, hint, hint, might include not 1, but 2 cookbooks. So well worth checking out our competition. So let's get into it, let's get finished, and make sure that our recipe is delicious and ready in time for the taste test. So I'm adding my cashew nuts into my blender. I've then got my ladle, and I'm going to ladle in some of my soup. So you can see over here, I hope you guys can see that far, if not, sorry, that the soup is slightly chunky, and it's got this beautiful yellow color. I'm going to hold it up now for you guys to see. And you're just going to spoon in to your blender enough liquid so that the soup blends. I think that should be sufficient. Beautiful. So this is what it's looking like at the moment. You guys can see it's got this vibrant yellow color. It's very, very delicious. And what we're going to do is just blend it over here. I'm starting to think I have a problem with yellow. I think that might be coming through, but my blender is actually also yellow, guys. So we're going to just give this a blend. I hope you guys are blending at home. Make sure you've got your lids on your blenders and that you're not spraying your entire kitchen with turmeric, because it's not fun. Beautiful. And you can just see the creaminess of the cashews completely change the color of the soup. There you go. Great, let's hope that that balances. So over here, what I have for you guys is the blended cashews with some of the soup. You can see it over here. It's changed color. It's become lighter. I hope that that's happening for you guys at home. If it's not, let me know. We've got another question that's come through. Perfect. I think that it's not a question, guys. It's actually the team telling me that I'm allowed to run late, which makes me very happy because that means I have you guys here for longer. Okay, so you've got your cashew nuts blended with half your soup, and I'm going to add it in to the rest of the soup. And what that's going to do is just thicken the soup. You're going to keep simmering it, don't stop cooking it, and just make sure that you stir it through and mix it all together. Oh, just look at that color. It looks amazing. Lovely. How are you guys doing at home? Let us know. Can you use salted cashews? A question that's come from you guys at home. You can use salted cashews if you don't have cashews, but they're not ideal. Why? Because they're very high in their salt content, and with that high salt content, it can kind of throw the taste palette out on the recipe. So it kind of becomes over-salted. That being said, if you're in a pickle, use them, but then be mindful of seasoning your soup at the end. Speaking of which, don't forget to season your soups, guys. This is a good time to do so. So I'm going to be cracking in some black pepper. My soup is simmering away. I've got my cashews that have been blended in. I've got all the ingredients in the pot, and it's just blimping away beautifully. You're going to add some pepper, some salt. Now, when it comes to salt, I use pink Himalayan salt. Another thing that happens with our salts is that they get ingredients added into them, such as bleach. They get bleached. They get caking agent, anti-caking agent added into them. And these are chemicals that, if you're eating them, can really damage your health. So we want to be mindful that when we're buying salt, we're buying the best salt that we can, preferably non-iodized, preferably without caking agent. But again, meeting yourselves where you're at. We've got somebody who's joined in late. Will I be posting this video afterwards? Yes. You'll be able to find this video on At Home's platforms as well as my Instagram. Make sure to come and find us on both platforms. Engage with us. I've shared the competition. If you're joining in late, I have just posted on my Instagram at Melissa_Delport the mechanics of being able to secret information when to cookbooks with me. So where we are, if you've joined in late or if you are following along at home, our soup is blimping away. It's looking really beautiful and rich. How are your soups doing at home? What are the colors that we're getting? Give us feedback on colors, guys. Is it looking yellow? What's happening? Where can you buy this cookbook? Is a question that's just come in. I'm loving all the questions, guys. I'm loving the engagement. It makes me really happy. You can find my book at any of the major bookstores in South Africa, but best of all, you can find this book at any at home across the country. This is the exciting project that we're working on tonight with you guys in the kitchen, is that At Home is launching Heal Begin With Food across South Africa, which is really amazing. So you guys are joining in. We're cooking 2 recipes from Heal. That's the book. Over here, we have our soup that is cooking away. And basically, we're actually ready to plate. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to clear this quickly over this way. Beautiful. And grab the coriander over here. At home, you guys should have left some lime. Beautiful citrus to be adding on top of your soup. It's just going to wake it up and cut through that heat, which is really beautiful. The color is one of my favorites. I've got another question that's coming. What is the cost of your new recipe book? Guys, you are testing me. I think the book is retailing, let let's say between 350 and 400. But the exciting thing is that for the competition on the Chef's Club at home, if you log onto their website, you can get one recipe a week that is going to be released from Hill. And I think they're also releasing it on their Facebook page. So if you can't afford the book right now, I still want you to have access to the incredible recipes. So go to their Facebook page and you'll be able to get yourselves a recipe a week. I've got another question. $3.99. It's come through. The book retails at $3.99. There's your direct answer. So our soup is blimping away. How are you guys doing? Are you ready for plating? Give me some comments. Give me some feedback. How are you guys doing? Ready to plate up some beautiful food? Let me know, because I am. It's looking delicious. So over here, I've got two beautiful bowls, which I think are going to be pretty with the yellow. It's always nice to put that extra effort in when you're plating, guys. You've come this far. You've come this far. Make sure that it looks beautiful right to the end. So let's get stuck into plating. We've got our ladle, and we've got our soup. We're going to add our soup in. Now again, guys, when it comes to soup, before we plate, let's have a conversation. My team's going to kill me because I'm running late, but it's fine, it's fine. When it comes to your soup, the longer you cook it, the more intense the flavor is going to get. So if you take your time, you guys at home, have a taste now. 100% will it be ready? Yes, it will. If you cook it for another 20 minutes, can't go wrong. It's just going to get gooier and just bigger in its flavors. So let's plate our soup. Yum. And always make sure, guys, that you're not spilling turmeric all over yourselves, because it is a beast to get off. There you go. Everything just goes bright yellow, which is great. Okay, so there's our one. And let's plate our second. Are you guys winning at home? Are you plating up? How's it going? I want to hear from you guys. Amazing. Oh, the guys, the soup is so beautiful. Is yours looking beautiful? We've got everybody saying at home that they're getting ready to plate too. Amazing. Pop your soup into your bowl. And this is really the color that you want your soup to be looking like. Oh, I'm just going to clean this off. You've got to make sure it looks beautiful right to the end, guys, right to the end. There you go. So you guys are plating up your soup. You're going to make sure that it is gorgeous and ready for you. You've got your smoothies that should be blended already, nice and creamy, nice and thick and lush. If you would like, and you're going to eat dinner now, I would recommend you pop your smoothies in the fridge just to make sure that they stay nice and cold. Maybe you're already having your chocolate smoothie now. Who am I to judge? So what I also have here is some raw almonds. You can toast almonds in a pan and then chop them up and add them to the top of your smoothie, or you can just use them raw, and I'm choosing raw tonight. So perfect. Another question from the audience at home. Can soup also be served cold as a summer soup? Yes. Sorry, I'm actually pondering on that question. It's quite a good one. I think you could serve the soup cold if you wanted to, but I would recommend it warm. If you're looking for a cold soup, for a summer soup, I have a beautiful cooling avocado and cucumber soup that is in Hill, Begin With Food. And that's really the soup that I would recommend as a cold one. I don't think, this one might, the flavors might not come across as clearly as you would like. So we have our soup. We have our coriander. Hands up, who eats coriander? So coriander is like one of those things, you either love it or you hate it. You're either into it or you're not. I am most definitely team coriander. I'm obsessed. It's a powerful green. It's incredible for the liver, incredible for your skin, and I'm sure all the ladies at home are definitely appreciative of that. And if I've swayed you now for coriander, team coriander, I'm into it. So you're going to pop your coriander on top. And then you're going to, you can pop your limes on the side before you serve, or you can add in a squeeze of lime over your soup. And the lime just really, it gives that extra zesty pop, which is so delicious. How far is my third book is a question that's come in. So the third book, actually today, there was a very, very interesting discussion with Penguin. So, not far away, let's put it that way. You guys have added in your lime. And what you're going to do now is add a crack of salt on top. This is me taking liberties. I didn't tell you guys about this beforehand, but my dressing salt that I add to the end of every recipe is called Maldon salt. It's a salt that is a little bit more crystally and that you kind of crunch in your fingers, and it just gives that extra yummy pop to a dish at the end. So this is like that Salt Bae guy. I always add in a little crunch of Maldon salt at the end. And then, because I am going to be eating this and spoiling myself, the piece de resistance is going to be a little drizzle of olive oil just on top. So, guys, that is me done. That is the dish done. That is the smoothie done. I hope that you guys have followed at home. I hope that you're plating up and that everything's working out. If it's not, please let me know on Instagram. I'm sure that it is. Cook it for 5 minutes longer. Love it up extra. Make sure that you're tasting. It can only be delicious. We have our corn chowder, which is in Heal Begin With Food, and our decadent double chocolate smoothie, which is also in Heal in the dessert chapter. If you're looking for my cookbook, you can find it at home across South Africa. It's been an absolute treat having you guys in my kitchen. Thank you so much for taking the time to cook with me. I appreciate it, and I'm so deeply grateful for every single person that has bought my book or that is going to buy my book. Don't forget, Mother's Day is coming up, Father's Day is coming up, birthdays are coming up, and a cookbook makes a great gift because it's the gift of cooking, and that is the ultimate manifestation of love. So thank you so much, guys, for joining me tonight in the kitchen. I will see you guys soon.